2020 was a big year for the human resources industry. With offices shut down, remote working became the norm for majority of employees in India. It earned them extra hours in hand and helped them save various expenses, including commute and formal attire. However, it comes along with its share of expenses such as higher electricity bill and internet usage. With work from home now expected to enter the permanent chapters of office culture, can the upcoming budget provide some relief to enable better remote working environment? To talk more on this, we have with us Anjali Raghuvanshi from Randstad India. What are the expectations of the HR industry from the budget for the salaried class?
I think given the industry that I represent, the clear one of the biggest expectation is job creation. That's going to be something that we will look forward to in the upcoming budget. And there are clear reasons for that. I mean, if you look at several reports, whether it's McKinsey or any other source, you will actually see that by 2030, we are expecting almost 90 million people to join the workforce, right? And I'm not even including the number of women, which is almost 55 million who will be joining the workforce as well. So given that kind of a number coming into the economy, and also given that focus of the government is around GDP and growth of the economy, right? So one of the biggest factors that will lead to growth of the economy is job creation. So we definitely look forward to what changes is the government going to recommend to kind of, really focus on this one. Couple of things that I can think of are like, especially from an Atmanirbhar Bharat perspective as well, is a sector-specific approach, right? Certain sectors where government will focus to ensure more jobs are created. Like manufacturing has been one where we've always heard government talk a lot about how it is playing a big role in making Make in India a whole program, plus Atmanirbhar Bharat vision. So that's one sector, but apart from that, definitely infrastructure, health are some of the other sectors. We should be seeing some reforms coming in for creating more jobs. So I think that's one. Second, as I said, almost 55 million of this workforce is going to be women, right? And we see that with all of those schemes and programs around education of girl child and all of that, with this happening, it's also there is a huge need for creating labor reforms and labor laws which are much more inclusive towards women as well. While we do know that we are now slowly talking about transgender, LGBTQ community as well, but I think still women largely are not so much there in the formal as well as unorganized sector. So that's one area I'm definitely hoping to see many more reforms coming in, and maybe even allocation of budget towards that, to really building capable women around skilling India and all of those missions as well. So yeah, so this is something, the biggest ask from our industry would be definitely around job creation.
There has been a lot of talk around the demands to provide some fiscal stimulus to employees to manage expenditure that has incurred in the work from home norms, like the higher electricity, the higher internet. So do you really think budget 2021 can make some space for this? Like, how practical is this demand?
Yes, I think it is a very practical demand, and the reason behind this is that India has learned new ways of working, right? If you look at also the millennial workforce, it does not believe that it's a privilege to work from anywhere. They believe it's a right to work from anywhere. And when you are working with this sort of a workforce, it's very important that your practices, your income tax structure, your allowances are in line with that, right? Like for instance, at Randstad, in this time, we gave out ergonomic allowance, we gave out for broadband Wi-Fi allowances to employees, right? Now, if these continue to get taxed, then how many employees would really be, hoping to continue to work from home? And yes, their expenditures on electricity, getting a UPS to ensure that power is constantly maintained, are some of the expenses employees have incurred, and organizations are working towards giving allowances. So I definitely hope that in this budget there are exemptions which are coming towards all the allowances which are given for employees to work seamlessly from home or setting up their home office as well. Another key aspect is conveyance allowance, right? With more and more employees opting to work from home or going for a hybrid model where they come few days to office and few days from home. Conveyance is not something that they are going to spend a lot. You have a vehicle allowance, maintenance allowance, you have fuel allowance. which are the things which employees were spending for. So I think it's important for government to also see how the employees are and their working styles are evolving over a period of time, and really put tax exemptions and around allowances, which now employees need much more than the ones which were existing earlier, right? So that's definitely one thing I hope government does provide some space or allocate resources to.
The same thing we've been hearing also, that other countries are considering additional costs being incurred by employees. So what can India pick up from there?
One thing definitely from some of the developed countries we can pick up is that these things, they've gone a few steps ahead of us, right, in terms of providing benefits to their employees. And that also brings me to the space of the medical insurance and the health space, right? And especially in the COVID situation, if you look at, I think one place where everybody's priority was sort of placed was health. And the amount of money we all incur towards, expenses to protect ourselves, as well as when we fall sick to take care of ourselves. So in that line, I think it's important that there are much more benefits, healthcare benefits that are kind of, allocated by government. Healthcare is one thing which, if you see, most of the developed countries are far ahead of us, right? So I think that's one section where I think definitely government should focus on, especially giving benefits to employees in terms of medical insurance, exemptions, etc. as well, right? So I think that's one for sure. And yes, I think protection of job as well, right? I mean, many countries, if you see, the developed countries are far ahead when it comes to social security norms and social security safety nets, etc. that they create. If you see many, because Randstad works globally across, we do know that many other governments were even protecting salaries of employees when they were out of work to ensure that there is no adverse effect on their pay, etc. Of course, those are some sections where government can start looking at. I think that does give, and especially not just for organized sector, but even unorganized sector, like look at the migration workers flight that we saw, right? What can government do in terms of creating a bit of more social security for them, bringing about some reforms that also support them both from healthcare as well as, taking care of their pay, etc. So I think these are some things we can learn from developed countries and start focusing a little bit more on our labor workforce, etc.